Good morning, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Abby, and in today's video we're doing something, a little experiment stolen from my friend Lily. I'll ask her if I'm allowed to use it. I'm sure I am, but I'll put an image of the screen on the screen, of what she has been doing, and she explained this to me when I met her in person for the first time in 3 years. At the weekend, and I couldn't understand. I could kind of get it, but when I saw the image I was like, that is so genius. And she's doing it because if she ever wants to take cuttings, the aerial roots have already found their way into soil, they're established, they know soil, there's less risk. I just thought this was such a good idea, and I'm like, why have I never thought of this? So I thought I could do it with my mega Monstera. I don't want to cut this up, so I'm not going to be doing it to this, but I kind of just wanted to show you what I was thinking. I don't want, like I said, I don't want to cut this up. So where am I going with this? We'll get another plant, but yeah, you can see the roots are absolutely crazy. They're crazy, they're good, they're long, but they're not sticking to this pole. You will see, or you would have seen in last Saturday's video, I did a moss pole review, and it was kind of like an update on that plant as well. So that plant is, the roots are really adhering to that moss pole, or that moss pole alternative. And depending on what leaf it throws out next and how that looks, I might just go ahead and, replace all of these. But in the meantime, yeah, I've got 4 large Monstera. The point was to always propagate one of them and make more for myself. And I think it would be the one on the top shelf, which has the least light, so it grows a lot slower. So I do want to do that today. The only problem is, as you'll see, Lily's, the roots are in the pot, in the nursery pot, but the nursery pot is sat in the main pot. My roots aren't long enough yet, so we're going to try it. If not, yeah, we'll just see how it goes. So this is the plant. It's a lot, like I said, it's a lot smaller than the others. The others are double the size. This does sit on the top shelf in a corner, so my window is behind the camera, and this plant sits on the wall where the window is, but so it's a really dark spot basically. I love it. This is the one I got free. This is the one I won from Plant Lovers, and they gifted this to me. I got to go over to yeah, it was the most insane experience. I got to go over to the Plant Lovers greenhouse, which was in Antwerp, and pick out my own Monstera. And when I say it took me a while, it took me a while. But Dirk really liked this one for me because it's kind of thrown me half moons here and there. Kind of on the same wavelength there, but not all the way. But yeah, ever since it's just been a really slow grower. And yeah, the roots aren't amazing. They're long, but I do think I can get a pot in there with some soil and, try this. Would I cut it here? No, I wouldn't. So really, we want to do the pot somewhere here, but it's obviously not going to touch that. I think my theory with this is going out the window. I also think if I chopped it there, it would grow from this node. And when I always talk about Lily's plant collection, but her Monstera started, this node at the bottom started activating, double-sided, and her Monstera literally went from 1 growth point to 3. And the difference is she feeds her plants with aquatic water, so water from her fish tank. And I don't have fish, but I have guinea pig poop, which is apparently really good, but I will not be doing that for now. But yeah, that's what I'm thinking anyway. We're going to utilize these roots here. Yeah, and it's nice to have that as an option. I mean, if it gives extra nutrients to the plant, amazing. Some of them you can see are completely dried up. I won't be touching that. Just these ones, I think. So now we need to go find a pot Also, correct me if I'm wrong, but I find whenever I water my plants, it just pushes out new growth. So I can guarantee you there's no real sign of new growth coming through soon. But when I water this, give it a week and it will be popping out, I promise you. It's crazy. I love how watering and feeding plants works. But this also needs a duster, like I said, top shelf. Oh god, this is so heavy. Right, I thought that'd make more of a thud. So, I haven't even opened the bag yet and I've already got soil everywhere. How is that possible? This is the soil I use. So it's called BioBiz and this is the light mix. As in like the mix of it is light. This load certainly is not light. This is 50 litres and I swear it's about, honestly, about 40 kilograms. I'm weaker since having a baby, but that's so heavy. So yeah, this just came through the post, so I'm going to use this. I have used this for years. I do use Grow Tropical's soil where I have it. I haven't got any left, so I won't be using that today. I'll be using this, and I think it's come down in price, but I paid £12 for this. I think it used to be 15 when we were pre-cost of living crisis. So I think it has come down quite substantially, and for the amount that you get, it's great. I do add normal perlite to it, but I don't have that today. So what we've got here, some pots. I want to use a nursery pot. So I've got these ones, and this is the smallest size. Yeah, but I need the length, don't I? So we need one that's kind of lengthy. So I'm going to use this one because it's lengthier. Okay, so I'm just literally going to pop loads of soil in it. Does anyone else's partners, friends, family get so annoyed with the way they open things? Like I usually do, like, as my husband calls it, an Abby hand size hole for things. So a lot less smaller than this. And he's always just like, just cut it open. But that's not fun, you know. It's not big enough. Yeah, I should just cut it, and I'm not going to do that though, because that means getting up and getting scissors, and I don't have time for that. They're literally behind me, but I've done it now. Okay, cool. So I filled up the bottom of this. It's not dense soil either, so I'll show you what it looks like. It's got perlite in it, but I like to add more. But yeah, I'm literally just going to add it in. I'm going to put the plant on a seat so you can kind of see the level of it and see what I'm doing. Okay, so let's hope my husband doesn't mind me using his chair. But so these are the roots I'm working with. This is the pot. I think that's going to work perfectly. And I will keep you updated with how this goes, just like I said with the moss pole alternative as well. Yeah, I just pulled that away thinking it's not going to be stuck to it, and it wasn't. No surprise there. It's a bit tight though. Could really do with a smaller one. Let's see if I can get that in there. Do you know why it's difficult? Because the roots up here, are quite high. So I think that a shorter one was actually better. I'm just going to do this. And this is flimsier, so I can just bend it. It's still really big. I don't think I've got smaller parts. I feel like it would thank me for this as well. Can I move that? This is turning into a bit of a different challenge. I think I'm going to do that. This plant is so dry. Right. Yeah, that's what we're going to do. It seems bizarre. I'm also thinking this is bizarre because just the structure of this now is like absolutely not what it used to be, but it wasn't anything special, so. And by doing this, the roots are gonna just be led to the pot, you know, they're gonna go further into the nursery pot that we've just made for it. And then I will report back and let you know how it goes. It's either going to be a flop or it's going to be genius. I know it's working for Lily, so doesn't necessarily mean it will work for me though. But I really love this idea, so I'm really, really keen. It's a bit like, you know, manipulating air layering, but I don't like moss. I never have any. I like moss. That's wrong of me to say I love moss. I've never really used moss. Okay. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to get some, how do I secure that? Right, I'm going to leave it like that. I'm going to extend this to be here. This moss pole, by the way, now, or extremely dry cocoa coir pole, is completely useless. Like completely useless. It's kind of supporting this. If it wasn't supporting this, I would just take it out and let it climb the wall up there. I don't even need to use that. I just have to be very careful. I was thinking cling film. Let me go get some cling film. Okay. Right. It's not long enough. Damn it. I just grabbed that from the plant I had there because I'm lazy. Right, I'm back with the goods. I can't tell you how many kitchen utensils, tools, anything kitchen I have converted to be in for plants, like the scissors, beakers, what else? There's so many things, like mugs, glasses, container boxes. Like the amount of things I've taken from the kitchen to use for my plants is hilarious. And now we're going through a cling film stage. That's better. I feel like it's a bit like a sling now, you know, when you break your arm. I had a sling from my finger that I didn't actually break because I was loving the attention when I was little. But yeah, I think that's okay. It's not clinging very well, but okay, cool. So yeah, I'm going to give that a water. You see how I've left that open, so it's like ventilated. The reason I say that I've left it open for ventilation, the smaller piece I took off, I wrapped around the roots that had like stuck and adhered to the moss pole alternative, and I had no problem getting there, like no problem whatsoever. But I thought, oh, I'll put cling film around it, so like there's less space for the long ones that come off the pole to just, you know, go nowhere. They can maybe climb up the pole. And it's been on there for 24 hours and I took it off, and some of it was very like, the roots were very, very like fluffy feeling because they are like growing, so they're new. But one of them that was more like this, looked like it was getting like quite squidgy, which is potentially it getting like rot. So I'm really glad I did this because then I caught that. I didn't leave any ventilation, and I should know that because I live in an old house, and everything is about ventilating. So yeah, we'll take this to the shower and then we will go and water. I'm going to now leave that to dry out in the bath and then I'll put it back in place. But yeah, I don't expect any overnight results, obviously. The roots need to find their way deeper into the soil, but it's literally like some of them are like touching the soil, but they'll just make their way in there. And how would I carry this on up the plant? I imagine just by stacking or by creating a device with smaller pots. I think I like the idea of this over those little glass kind of like test tubes that people put their roots in, because they would be water dominant roots, and while I water propagate all the time, I wouldn't want to leave them in like that indefinitely or until I was ready to cut the plant. I might not be ready to cut the plant for years. Like, you know, it just doesn't, it's not right for that situation. So this soil idea that Lily gave me is definitely right for the situation. So I'll keep you updated. And yeah, if you follow me over on Instagram, I'm likely to give updates on stories there. But if not, we'll probably see an update at some point soon on my channel. But I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you next Saturday. Bye.